Good morning and welcome in from the early AM here in North America as it is 5 AM on the East Coast. And I am here with somebody who's in a little bit more favorable time zone. The man who's been casting Gold League all season long. Tetcher, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty fantastic. Like you said, a little bit more favourable here. It is currently 10 AM here, a good 5 hours on top here. However, we'll soon all be in a very similar vote as very similar boat as Crucible is coming up for both of us. So we're both excited to see each other in person. But first, we get to enjoy a cast together of the final day of HGC China.
China, always entertaining. So I don't know. I imagine most people that probably watch HGC China. Obviously, we've got people from around the world that will be watching. But if you're coming from my channel directly and you haven't had an opportunity to check out HGC China, I can tell you that you're probably in for something in Heroes that you've probably never seen before. Because China does things a little bit different, not only in terms of their format and their league style, but their play as well, which is probably some of the most entertaining, I think, heroes that we probably have just due to drafts, playstyles, and things like that. Right, Tetcher?
Almost certainly. We've already, I've mentioned this before and I've tweeted it out. There are only since yesterday, only 2 heroes who this phase, over the last 3 phases of HGC China haven't been played in professional play, and that's Butcher and Rexar. Those are the only 2 heroes who haven't been played at all. Murky, he's in there. Gazlo, 100% win rate. What you got to say about that? China will do anything, and there's a good chance we'll see that variation today, because our very last match is between 2 teams who are guaranteed going to BlizzCon. They have nothing to lose, except maybe, in CE's case, a potential seed, but they're very open to experiment and try new things.
Look, I'll say this. Last weekend, during HGC Europe, we saw Rexar, okay? And I had been talking about Rexar for months. I remember talking with Fnatic about Rexar back before Mid-Season Brawl even started. And I was talking about how effective this build could be. Her level 7 talent, her level 4 block talent. I say her because it's Misha. And, you know, I went on about that and things. But here's a look at the standings, the rankings. With the format here, Tetcher, you want to care to break it down a little bit for us? I think you got a bit more insight than I do.
So here is the standings, like you said. Only 1 play day left, and the way we do it here in HGC China is a best-of-2 format. If you guys watch the mid-season Brawl group stage, you know exactly what's going on here. Teams play 2 games. If the score is 2-0 for any team, they get a full 3 points. As you can see here, even the 3rd place team, they have no way of catching up with CE, so they're very much open to do whatever they want. If you get a tie, both teams get 1 point. If you lose, you get nothing. And here is the standings. The second bar from the end is actually the one with the points to cause maximum confusion.
I was going to say, I can get a little bit. I think I can decipher something that's going on there, but here's a look at today's schedule. BTG versus HotsLady, of course. But the last one, Tetcher, we were talking about this before we go live. SPT, super perfect team, against CE, both these teams at the Eastern Clash, but both of them normally at the top.
Yep, they have always been, since me and Kendrick started casting this, they have always been the top 2, top 3 teams, give or take an alternative E-Star roster every now and again. But these 2 teams have always been at the top, despite the consistent inconsistency, which is a weird sentence to say, of Challenge. But super perfect team, they've just continued to grow since we first saw them. They've gone from that goofy, really solid, I would compare them to like an expert team, like really, really strong, but willing to bring out a Gasso every now and again. And they've just turned into the powerhouse of the region. Unfortunately, that has yet to be proved, really, on an international level due to consistent issues with visas. But hopefully this time, BlizzCon, as they have been guaranteed to go to BlizzCon for about 4 weeks now, just in terms of point differences. So hopefully they've managed to get that sorted, and we will get to see them in full strength at BlizzCon.
Tetcher is a bit more quiet than me. I will work to get that. Let me move this over. I will crank Tetcher up. Tetcher?
Hello.
Oh yeah. All right, give me an eye on that team. I don't normally have I'm getting the co-casting. Kendrick reached out to me last week. Special shout out to Kendrick, who's in the chat for now before he takes off.
Yeah.
Normally our caster here, but he's taken off. Got a day off. I mean, the man needs a break every now and again. I think puts in a lot of good work. But special shout outs to Kendrick for reaching out to me, asking if I'd like to cast. It's always a delight to kind of cast everywhere. I think this gives me an opportunity to kind of hit all the major regions for their league at some point this year outside of China, but excited nonetheless to be here.
It's gonna be good. Excuse me, that my throat went very weird there. But here we have one of the teams in our first game. This is Beyond the Game. Technically, their full name is Beyond the Game of Heroes of the Storm, because they really like their long team names in China. But we have here A619, ZJZ, MJ, and ST. Now, Beyond the Game and The One were our new teams for this season, replacing Wukong Gaming and Kiss, who both dropped out. And they've been looking... Oh, sorry, Wukong Gaming and E-Star, who either disbanded or dropped out. And they've been looking really solid for a new team. We were just hoping they wouldn't be a Wukong Gaming, but right now, they are fighting for that BlizzCon spot.
I gotta ask a little bit as we see ST there, but you said ZJZ. Why isn't it ZJZ?
For Max, because some countries pronounce it Z. This way I have created maximum outrage by pronouncing it both ways. And you see a little bit of ST getting some really good value here. He is a legendary Lunara player, really solid with that damage output. However, there has been some talk about BTG missing potentially one of their best players in the first couple of weeks. They actually have 6 players, 7 players-ish. And they have used a player called Fish, who is one of the best Illidan's that almost any of us have ever seen. You can see there their full team lineup, so many players up at the top left there. But Fish is one of the most legendary Illidan players, we've ever seen, and yet he hasn't appeared in like the last 5 weeks. So a lot of people are considering that maybe just because he's not available, or maybe they just don't see the value they have there.
And here's a look at HotsLady 365. That dude is putting in work year-round, Tetcher.
Yes, he is. First phase, he was on this team. Then he actually sort of pseudo-retired to go and become a caster, joining up with the rest of the casting team we have here. However, this phase, him and one other caster decided, you know what, let's give it a go. And they've come back down for another attempt, and he's really good. He's been playing a sort of mix of assassins and supports. It may only show supports down in the bottom at the moment, but he's also been playing a lot of Chromie this phase. He's played a little bit of Valor when he's been given the opportunity. But here is the key player for the team. It is Carlo, tank player, exceptional Tyrael, and this is, you can see this is why he's been put onto it the majority of the last couple games he's played.
Yeah, I think one thing that always, I always look towards, I've heard Dreadnought say it, I've heard many people say it, but being able to play Tyrael or have a Tyrael player in your team, whether it's the main tank, the secondary tank, no matter what it is, you'll always find some way to get value, and that's one of the biggest things that it enables so many heroes. I love it. It's almost like every single meta, no matter what meta you want to put him in, he's always good, right? And so even after the rework, he's good. I'm always happy when I see Tyrael players out there. And then, of course, if he's your key player, that's always a good thing to have there.
Indeed. Like you mentioned how we always talk about these kind of things before an event, but we always end up with 2 heroes who leap up at offline events, and the entirety of HGC China is an offline event, and those are Zeratul and Tyrael. Doesn't matter what the meta was beforehand, those 2 will leap up in popularity, because Sank and Void Prism are just really good when you are in that coordinated offline setting. Here we see the tail of the tape. BTG, much higher in the standings. You can see them winning in the majority of those stats. I don't have the list of what they are, but the main ones you can see there, the KD at the top. Experience is the one with the K at the end, and Deaths is the one where they are both on 10. So pretty even in terms of Deaths, actually. Yeah,
I think KDA is pretty much worldwide. I almost wonder if that's supposed to be takedowns. KDA of 10 is really high. Yeah. Like, that's really high, which means that you're well, yeah, I mean, I guess if you got the assist in there. Okay.
Yeah,
I think
that
that
would
makes
make
sense.
sense.
Yeah, BTG HotsLady, though, will be here underway. I like how Warhead Junction is one of their maps, by the way.
It's one of their top maps. It's the one they have won on a fair amount. And you can see here, BTG on a bit of a slump. They were able to beat Soa, but then lost to the one in SPT, which isn't an easy week to have, to be fair. Really, really tough teams, whereas HotsLady, they lost to Soa, so you can see the comparison. And the one time they played each other, as China rotates twice, so each team plays each other twice each phase, BTG were able to come out on top. A reminder, this is our third place team fighting our last place team. HotsLady aren't really fighting for BlizzCon here. They are fighting to not get relegated.
That's always a good thing. I mean, speaking of relegated, Crucible up in about a week and a half, by the way. You guys' playoffs are final tonight, right? Or today?
Yep, it is. It is about 2.5 hours, 1.5 hours after this.
Tetcher's got a full day of casting, so if you're looking for more HGC action and you're up early or wherever you're at, we've got HGC Gold League here. We're going to be casting final day of China. The Open Division in Europe, final day today. We'll be over on Grubby's channel. Tetcher cast that as well, so he's got a full plate today if you guys want to go over there and show some love later for the European division.
What I do, and we have some really tense matchups. We've already decided our first representative for the Crucible in the form of Team Leftovers, and now it has been narrowed down to Always Lucky, Bushido Esports, or Polska Pamięta for our last spot. For now, we head into Sky Temple as our first draft of the day. It was picked by Beyond the Game. They do like their global maps quite a bit, and HotsLady going to start off with the Ariel ban.
Yeah, Ariel, no matter where you're at, she still has some effect. We are on the live patch, however, so she's taken a bit of a nerf, but it kind of takes away that double support that we've seen traditionally wrapped around maybe like an Ariel Rhaegar, Ariel Uther. I really like the Ariel Rhaegar combination, and so that's the biggest thing. Do you know if they're on the live patch? Like, are they on the live patch that just hit yesterday?
I'm pretty sure they were on the live patch Monday, so I assume they're probably on some kind of tournament realm now. Okay. That would be weird, swapping patches halfway. What's a key ability we could use to find out? What's been changed the most? Johanna, I guess?
Let's see.
Like if Johanna starts wrecking stuff,
yeah,
or has two
early
hammers,
game,
that's probably how we can tell.
I casted the show match with Volskaya.
Watching, dude. It's good.
Johanna's level 7, like almost immediately after they picked it, the one where you get the slow, completed it. I played many games on stream trying to get that done. Could not get it done. Guy shows up, first game, everybody clumps, he gets that, and first time he tries it. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa.
They're pro for a reason, dude. They're just epic. As they do stuff we could only dream of. As we do start with a very support-heavy early draft, Tassadar managing to sneak his way through, and the response to that is the Rhaegar and the Lunara. Lunara, of course, with that huge AoE damage over time, which sort of baits HotsLady away from picking something like an Uther, because he will struggle to keep up with that big AoE damage over time healing.
And the thing about it is that not only that, but I feel that Lunara is one of the better counters towards a Tracer, just because the auto attacks in general, greater spell shield at 13, that it kind of makes you go into something a bit more standard, like a Greymane, things like that, where Tassadar doesn't always have max value, and you still could go into that because they're banning the Illidan to make sure you can't enable a hero like that. So I really like the Illidan ban there.
Illidan ban's good. We're seeing a return of a global ban in the form of the Dahaka here, getting banned out by HotsLady. They don't want to get ganked. They have picked their second support already, a much more AoE favored support. Here is that Tyrael, and it's been stolen away from Carlo here, which is very interesting. That's probably going to force him onto something like Arthas, or maybe even Stitches. His hero pool's perhaps a little limited for a tank player. He could be in trouble with this if he's not careful. And
that's the thing, is that although Arthas has that... Oh my, just come right out. I mean, if you want to make sure that your armor just incrementally stacks against poison damage. Dude, they are fast drafting today, Tetcher.
Yeah, what were the two heroes who I said, like, appear off that? This is not usual. We will, on the very odd occasion, see a Zeratul, but not this early and with this much fervor, as HotsLady pick it really quickly, like you said. Response to that being a Genji. Now, Genji has massive issues against Garrosh due to his health bar being a huge bait, due to the fact you look at that and you say, I could kill that in one dash. Nope, he's got armor. But the Zeratul, on the other hand, very mobile. His big advantage is he's able to get out of fights very quickly if he's low. But we do have Genji, who is going to be able to chase him down if required.
You know, one hero that generally is considered counters towards these dive-style heroes, it doesn't get seen as much. Varian, maybe ETC lockdown. Varian because of the taunt. Garrosh has a taunt himself if needed, but I think that Sanctification will be the answer if duty calls.
Not if he can hit the taunt first, as the taunt is technically a silence. So very much a back and forth there. Let's have a quick time sync to make sure we are relatively in time before the game starts. If you remember how to do that.
Not what I was trying to do.
Cog, advanced.
Yeah, I clicked
Okay, I am on 8.
I'm on 7.
That'll do. I'm happy to be behind a bit. And it saves us refreshing forever. We'll take it. And it is amazing how technology is at the point these days where we can just cast the same clean feed at relatively the same time. Only 7 seconds behind when it actually happened. Technology's cool.
I'm definitely cool with that. Special shout outs to the HGC Gold League people giving us the clean feed, allowing us to bring you guys the English cast here. I love the production, as always, in China.
Let's get this underway. It is BTG versus HotsLady.
My favorite comment already. Solo support? Yeah, we're not in North America anymore. This ain't Kansas.
No, China really does love their double support still. Double support, double tank, still pops its head up almost consistently.
Here we go as we head into game number 1. And we do have BTG on the left, as we can see. A going to be on Genji, 619 on Tyrael, ZJZ, that's right, I'm going there, on Sonya, MJ on Rhaegar, and ST going to be on that Lunara, the key hero in my opinion.
And on the right, it is going to be HotsLady with 365 on Tassadar, again on Karazim, Feed B on Greymane, Kid on Zeratul, and Carlo is bringing out the Garrosh.
Here we go, game 1, starting the day. I tell you what, man, I just realized what I'm doing. I realized I'm casting some HGC Gold League here. First time ever. Tetcher, thanks for having me along. Kendrick, shout out to you, of course, my man.
Thanks for having me and filling in, running the stream. Let's get this underway. Garrosh, is that body check?
It is.
That's the first time I've seen body check picked in a professional capacity.
I look at it and I think about the heroes, and maybe the throw range isn't quite there. Genji, hypermobile. Yeah. Sonya can always try and find a way out. The one hero who would struggle is Rhaegar, because Lunara could go Leaping Strike at 10, but everybody else has quite a bit of mobility.
Poor kid. And there's also the fact that he's unlikely, due to that mobility, to hit Warbreaker every time, so he's not going to be able to get the shield synergy, so I guess it's body check. Cool. First time we're seeing that here. Other than that, relatively standard for everyone. Scion Fusion for Tass, auto attack build's kind of dead at this point. The Iron Fists for Karazim and the Vorpal Blade for Zeratul. They really want to put pressure onto that Lunara.
Yeah, the Lunara, you know, one of the things, and I think, again, just simply due to the fact that this has got to be 8-second Karazim heal. Karazim, his AoE heal does incredibly well against a Lunara type who's looking to always spread damage, most likely going Splintered Spirit 7. So it'll be up to Karazim and team to work together to spread those AoE heals and hopefully keep everybody up. And we'll see 8 or 10 seconds, Tetcher. I hope somebody's got a stopwatch ready.
We will see. And I will say, it's very interesting to see how the Lunara countering has evolved over time in China. We used to see a lot of teams just go for Uther anyway and just try to tank through it and kill everyone else. Nowadays, it's Karazim is the go-to counter for Lunara, and literally the counter for Lunara is she can't damage us if she's dying, and you just literally just send Karazim at Lunara just all in, and that zones her. And it works really quite well. Throw used on 619, try to burn him down. ST drops a little bit of damage. Karazim, you can see they're putting that pressure on. Needs to wait for his spread healing though to come off cooldown. as they do take the remaining temple shots, though.
Yeah, they just kind of traded. We didn't have the big fights that sometimes we generally have, but we have an immediate dive towards the Siege Giant camp, and sometimes we'll see teams do this. We got both teams actually doing it, as we can see on the minimap there. You try and go there, try and get that early advantage, and then you move towards the top. The fact that we don't have the Globals Tetcher means that playing around those night camps, it's going to be a matter of who can clear quickly and who's going to rotate down first, and maybe those early temple shots will have a big impact. But because that first temple phase went really uncontested, that fight for level 10 before then probably isn't going to be there the way that we would generally see it. When you have those fast caps, the fight around level 10 on the bottom temple doesn't normally happen.
Exactly. We are actually going to see top die as well, and that may force the fight on the bottom temple due to the fact that XP is going to there's not much to defend. Even if there was a camp up top, there's going to go to the tier 2s, it's going to take much longer to do so. So other than the potential of a camp being stolen, which has happened in HC China before, there's very little in top lane to deal with. So the bot lane team fight may be the name of the game for both teams.
That's the thing, is when we look at the team, Tassadar is basically your best wave clear unless you can get Greymane in Worgen form. He does have Cocktail build, but really doesn't get strong till late game. Zeratul okay, but he can't exactly hold a lane against Sonya, which is what he was trying to do. Sonya just has that significant wave clear, significant threat and kill potential, and for Zeratul, level 7 is a big power spike for him. Getting that ability to jump off the Singularity spike will allow him to engage a bit better, get more value out of his combos / things like that. But you talked about the invade. A is over there at least poking it out for now.
He's giving it a scout. Sonya's left, though. She's unlikely going to be able to be there, and she would be almost 100% necessary for a raid. Instead, Sonya's doing her own bruiser camp, so they will have that available. Garrosh, by the way, brute force coming in here. The extra 50% healing reduction on anyone who he hits with the body check. If he can target, if he can just literally save that for when he sees Ancestral about to land, it's gonna be beautiful.
That's the thing, is that we've seen so much play out of that with Malthael, that touch, that mark for death that he just throws out there. It's kind of like a different version of it. And you talked about right away at level 1 going into that body check is unusual in itself, but this is a really good way to combo it. As we see, 19 is going to get thrown back, but on the other side, Lunara is going to go down.
That Karazim pressure on the Lunara, very effective. Zeratul joining it as well with that combo / Vorpal Blade and the Singularity Spike talent upgrade. At level 7, they are relentless. Add Greymane into the mix too. And Lunara, without the help of that Sanctification and the healing of Rhaegar, is going to have a pretty miserable game.
So where do you think we're going to see this go? Do you think Lunara is going to be brave enough to say, look, solo support, maybe I can take advantage? This kid going in there on Tyrael. Tyrael taking a lot of damage as MJ comes over, lends the support, but you got to think Greater Spell Shield will be the pick just to worry about the Zeratul. But I've seen some very brave people go into the the advantage one to get the extra damage on the poison.
Unfair advantage is still pretty decent here. You have Eldrain's Might Slows with the increased cooldown reduction from the Heraldric Reforging. You have the Totem from Rhaegar. You're going to get some good damage. And I honestly don't think the Spell Shield's going to help too much. All the damage is auto. Like, there's Combo Strike, there's Greymane. Like, it's going to protect you against Cocktail. But that's about it. He really just has to rely on his team to protect him and keep that leaping strike for those desperate scenarios as opposed to the execution tool he would like it to be. Sonya gets flipped, getting focused. The drag misses 7 sides on 2 heroes. There's the taunt! And Sonya's taken out. Claire, the Sanctification's good, but VP will just wait it out, and down goes Tyrael.
I said, hey, Tetcher, do you think that, you know, Taunt's going to be very good as, hey, not able to get out of there, the toss over, but look at the poison damage going around, but way too aggressive.
Wait, again, oh, clutch heal right at the end of the poison.
But I said, how do you feel about Taunt? And you said, well, it's going to be trouble. I think ST, he's going to leave me. Oh, I think he got his auto attack on a minion because I saw Vorpal go in and he Vorpal to the minion.
He went back in one more time, but Lunara gets out with probably in less than 10 health. Now it is Kid. He blinks out of range of the spear, and he will get out. That's 5-0 for HotsLady at the start of the game.
That was a really good engagement, led by Garrosh there. The taunt obviously not able to cast Sanctification at the time, getting both members in, and you saw the support trying to come over, and you saw the healing reduction there too. I don't know if the heal was just delayed as we have the... Oh my goodness. Oh my.
Oh, so many throws. Lunara goes down.
Like, it was such a weird spot to cast Leaping Strike right on the corner, because the second one, you could see after the strike, the toss, and her body's just, like, flailing around. And then the heel lands, it's like, wait a minute, like, you kind of jumped the wrong way. But
wasn't the best scenario, but she does put it down. To remind people in the chat, there's not much we can do about me being a bit too far behind or a bit too far ahead unless it gets really extreme. We're not going to worry about it because it's a clean feed. It's really hard to sink. So we're going to see A dancing around, takes a shot, gets demounted, but that's not going to be such a huge deal. What is a big deal is 619 currently getting pressured. Are they going to dive for him? Zeratul, one more hit. Not going to commit to it though.
Not at all. I'm at 23, 24, 25.
26, 27, 28.
I'm about 2 seconds.
I'm a little bit behind. 2 seconds? How are you 2 seconds?
I'm at 35 right now.
Okay,
37.
I just got 35. What's your latency to broadcaster? How have you jumped ahead? You were 7 seconds at the start of the game.
I might be behind. It still says 7. Either way, I think it's fine.
Meh. The internet being weird. Either way, we'll take it. It's fine for now. We'll just refresh outside of every game. We'll see if I can boost myself ahead of Jayhan. We'll see how that looks. So,
you're already 5 hours ahead, Tetcher.
Touché, sir. As we do see Kid dancing around, takes a spear. That Splinter Spear does catch him as he retreats out. Double up, by the way, for Garrosh. It looks like Tassadar's pretty much complete on his Size Storm. Goodbye, Tyrael. Wow. Oh,
wow.
Hang on, Zeratul might be in trouble. Just makes it out again. So much poison.
That is a really good combo. I saw the 7-sided strike. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I'm pretty sure I feel much better about it now, because that toss into 7-sided and the taunt, Tyrael got exploded.
Yeah. If they have basically an isolation execution comp that you'd usually run with a Stitches. Like, it's basically the Stitches Gorge Emerald Wind combo, or but instead of Gorge Emerald Wind, it's Void Prism to stop the enemy team engaging, and Taunt to stop the other hero running away. It's Stitches, but without the follow-up required. It's actually really cool. It's without a follow-up stun, because they don't have a follow-up stun. I'm really digging this. All they have to do is just kill the hero in less than a second and a half of the Taunt.
The Wisp coming down. The boss at 50% health. I believe they're going to try and fight on this. No level 16 yet.
Holy ground.
No holy ground, but HotsLady has hit 16 themselves, so they've got a 3-level lead for the moment.
Tyrael jumps in. He has Sanctification. Moves out to 7-sided. Jumps back in. Sanctification's dropped. The Leaping Strike is huge. Void Prism only catches one. Garrosh is holding the line, but the Dragon Blade is ripping them to shreds. And BTG crush through this fight. 365 in full retreat. Boss is stolen. It's a full team wipe in exchange for Tyrael, the brave and noble sacrifice of the Angel of Justice.
Genji. I think he might have pressed R a few times in that one.
I think you might be right.
Here's a look at the replay. I mean, the VP goes down on the backside, but with Tyrael already in, it doesn't really do much of anything, and they just stand on that point. Lunara spreading the poison damage, and the minute Genji went it, Genji actually dodged the VP. I see he actually swift striked in, and then just went to town in their Tetcher.
Yeah, they got absolutely closed in on. The VP only caught Rhaegar, which is good. Removes the healing, but when you have everyone clumped up on top of the enemy Sanctification and taking that Lunara spread damage, Sonya came in for a beautiful flank. That was literally everyone taking all the damage at once, and that's exactly what BTG wants. The first time they've been able to pull it off, and with that, they are capitalizing, taking both temples.
It's one of those moments where strategically, Tetcher, I'm thinking, you know, the boss is cool, but all 5 of the enemy team's still up, and do you really need the boss right now? You have such a big lead, and they just gave it all up. And look at the experience. It was 16 to 14, an even 2-level lead. Now BTG is up by half a level.
It was also 8 kills to 0. 7 kills to 0. Now it's 8 to 5, thanks to that full team wipe. 365 eating so much poison. Carlo gets slowed. drops the taunt in full retreat. The 7-sided from over the wall. Carlo will drop here, throws Sonya towards his own ally Tassadar. Greymane into the backline though, killing off Ludara. 1-for-1, Greymane's completely alone. Dragonblade was procced. Again, decides to take the long way home.
Oh, Genji's like, hello, you're not getting away from that, kid.
Oh dear. Goes down to BTG, turning it up, and they would love to take this series in a 2-0 today. As a reminder, the current standings has BTG on 17 points and the one right behind them on 16. If BTG take this 2-0, they go up to 20 and the one will not be able to overtake them, and BTG will guarantee themselves the spot at BlizzCon. Even if it's just a 1-1 though, then if the one go 2-0, they will steal the spot. So BTG need this 2-0 to shut out the spot and go to BlizzCon.
One keep has been picked up, Tetcher. A big win on Sky Temple. However, the next Temple phase will be at the top. Neither team with 20. And now, if you're HotsLady, you look at this as a blessing. You clear up bot lane. You fight at top lane. This is your best chance. If you lose a big team fight, it's probably game. If you win a big team fight, then you put yourself right back in the driver's seat, keeping this even for now. The top temple, of course, will fire towards the closest structure, which will be that top lane. And there's still a fort standing on the side of BTG. So you've got to win a fight just to keep balance in this game, else you're going to have a hard time. But Tyrael, so far, isn't rotating up at all as he's trying to soak 20, Tetcher.
He is indeed trying to soak 20, give his team some XP, because BTG already relatively in a good position for having taken down that bot keep. They're very happy to be patient here. Their top keep is going to start taking a little bit of damage, but it will probably be worth it if they can get level 20 and take a team fight then. I
don't know if they can get 20. That minion wave is there. They do have Siege Giants pushing, so they're going to come in, get the tail end of this. But I think that was a win for HotsLady to at least get some experience back by getting structures down. Now they have enough time. Or do they have enough time as Kid? Already taking a lot of damage here. He's trying to get out of there. Karazim coming over for the heals. But the scary part is that if that happened there, if that kill goes down, it's almost game. But for now, we've got the opportunity for HotsLady to just kind of sit back, soak 20, and then look to fight again later. So that was a win, I think, for HotsLady.
Yeah, they get the shots. They're looking okay as level 20 is hit here. The Holy Arena, Galloping Gate, Sonya with the Nexus Blades. Cool. Upgraded Dragon Blade and Storm Shield coming in for Rhaegar.
If you missed the intro, I talked about how different... No way. No, Kid.
Oh, that was overcommitted. He's still had Blink, though. He's good.
But I talked about how different China is, willing to go into Nexus Blades as Sonya. I don't know if I've ever cast the game, and Tetra, I've casted a lot of games, Open Division, Pro Division, no matter what. I've never seen Nexus Blades Sonya.
I have. Go hard or go home, I guess. It's very much a win harder style. He's not gone for an auto attack build though. Why not ignore pain? It was safe.
Who needs to live when you can kill, Tetcher?
Don't need to protect against damage that's dead as they take down another keep here. Sonya going to try and race it down there with that Wrath of the Berserker. Kid managing to dodge the lightning shield there, and as such doesn't get revealed. So they probably still saw his shimmer, but they don't know exactly where Zeratul is. He's not visible on the minimap. He will be revealed in this bot lane though as he goes to clear up the catapults.
All right, well, win conditions for both teams. Temples will be up. You'll have to take a team fight, or the boss is there. We already saw how the boss worked out earlier for HotsLady. I imagine they're probably not thinking about the boss right now unless it's desperation time. And we'll see. There's the toss over. 7-sided strike. The taunt's going to be there. Sanctification is down.
Sanctus lad with the garage getting focused. The VP is huge though, but everyone makes it in. Tyrael is so low here. The storm takes him out. Ancestral is bound down on that 10-second cooldown. As long as HotsLady could retreat, that worked out pretty well for them, but Greymane's kind of boned. He gets focused down. It's a 1-for-1. They take down Genji though. 365 is dropping. He dimensional shifts. Ancestral lands on Lunara. She's the main source of damage. The health bars of HotsLady are going down. Sonya is spinning and or winning as Carlo is dropped and again will be finished off as well.
Boom! Headshot. As that goes through, Sonya and Lunara walk away and they are victorious. And we're going to see Sonya onto the temple. Actually, she's going to go all the way to the top. She has a little bit of self-sustain. Lunara, I'm not sure how long she'll be able to stay on there. It's going to be up to her to just kind of dance around. But this should be 2 keeps down. I think that they should start to get core damage out of this.
Catapults, yeah.
It'll be close.
There's catapults in bot lane. This should kill off mid really quick with the fact it is double temples. So yeah, this will be core damage and potentially game. Zeratul will have VP in 27 seconds, so he could in theory VP the core, but I don't think that actually blocks laser damage anymore.
Well, the catapults are going to be the main thing. Actually, this might not be game. If Greymane can clear up the catapults, the temples...
Look at that damage, though! It hurts so much. We haven't mentioned, by the way, because it might not matter. We'll talk about it anyway. Titanic Might coming in from Garrosh throws 2 enemies instead of 1. I like it, but it just spreads the 7-sided damage, so I really don't like it. That core is really dying.
They're desperate as Zeratul moving into the middle as they're going to
get on that point.
Give us some action.
Final 5.
It's so low. But here's the thing. Oh, they're going in. You just death ball onto the core. You've got sanctification, but you cannot get picked off along the way. Tyrael going top. The rest of the team, he's trying to bait them. He's going top. He's got sanctification. If he can just meet Sonya here, he's on the core himself. This should be game.
Tyrael does like 8% by himself in explosion.
VP
is gone. Genji with the Dragon Blade full health.
VP!
They're going for Tyrael. Void Prism's down. Why isn't it on the core?
He didn't VP the core.
Finishes off the game.
Tetra, please. Why did he VP the core?
I don't know. That was not a good idea. Well, GG. As the first game goes over to BTG. And they move only 1 game away from guaranteeing that BlizzCon spot.
Everybody's guess is as good as mine on that one. Bringing back shades of summer 2016 as we get Michael Udall VP. Savageness coming out from chat, but that is a moment that lives on in infamy, and you can imagine if this is on a bigger stage, which this is a pretty big stage, especially considering the moment, what's at stake. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. I don't know if they would have survived that, but they blew up the Sonya earlier. They got the second kill, but not VP in the core. And when the Lunara is there, she just leaping striked over the poison damage, the auto attacks. It just really worked. And credit to BTG for understanding that all they have to do is basically death ball onto that core. 16% that late in the game, Tetra. Not too much to deal with.
I agree it was the correct decision, especially Tyrael. He could have exploded. But even if they had VP'd and killed the people outside the VP, one of those people was Tyrael. He's just going to explode on the core and win anyway. True. Why didn't they VP the core? I am a bit upset. But either way, game number 1 going over to BTG. If they win 1 more game, they would have secured 3 points, bringing themselves up to 20. Maximum amount of points that the 1 can get is 19. So if BTG win this next game, they're going to BlizzCon, and the 1's dreams shall be shattered.
My dreams are shattered. I wanted to see how that ended with VP on the core. Seriously, those are moments that you learn from. You learn from as an observer, as an analyst. It's like, can they pull this off? Which in reality you think they should, but you want to see it at all variables possible. Like if you're a physicist, you don't leave out a variable in a key equation that is used for discovering something or whatever. And I
believe if I was to combine these 2 chemicals, they would explode. But in order to perform this experiment, I'm going to do it without the blast shield in between me and the chemical. So even if I do find out the information, I still go down.
There's a final rundown as it ended up being 14 kills to 14. I tell you what, Tetra, I saw somebody in chat. They're like, look, it's a couple minutes in. We don't have a kill yet. Am I watching China? It took a minute. They got the engines going. Oh, yeah, you're watching China.
Yeah, it is going to be 28 kills total between these 2 teams. But one of the most important things to point out here is HotsLady are our bottom team of the table. They put up a really good fight.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they were in such control. They were up 16-14 and opted to take the boss. And I think that at that moment they lost a lot of control. It's kind of like the engine stalled out on what they were going with.
And there is MVP A, that Genji. I honestly, I kind of think it should have been Tyrael.
Tyrael played phenomenal there.
So well.
I mean, Genji pressed R. Tyrael has a lot more buttons to press.
Exactly. Also pressed R once, but he also pressed Q a couple times. I think there was an E in there. I'm not entirely sure. But, but yeah, super well played by BTG. They moved themselves one game closer. HotsLady, though, now, because no matter what, they're going to the relegation spot because the maximum amount of points they can get now is 1, which will bring them up to 9 points. The next closest team has 11. So no matter what, HotsLady are going to relegation.